So Liana received an additional request regarding her Brazilian police clearances. Now, Brazilian police clearances are notoriously technical in terms of the ones they need. You know, Australian government need particular types of clearances from applicants from Brazil. There's two types. There's the federal state, there's a federal clearance, and then there's the state clearances. So let's say, to give you a comparable example, there's the AFP in Australia, that's the federal clearance, and then each state might issue its own clearance for certain reasons. And that's what is required for partner visa applicants from Brazil. They want the federal clearance, and then they want the state clearance, depending where that person's lived, which state that person's lived in Brazil. And Liana was saying that they're running into a problem regarding one of those states and the process of getting that clearance from that state. Now, unfortunately, I can't resolve that issue. I can't sit here and say this is how you resolve the issue with that state, because that's an administrative, bureaucratic process specific to that state and that country. And I can't say how to fix each jurisdiction's police clearance application issues. So my recommendation was to see if, though, there was a way for someone to apply for the clearance for him in person, a relative, someone that was authorized to apply for the clearance in person. I have heard of that resolving similar issues in the past for similar police clearances from other places, but I can't be sure if that's going to be necessarily available for that state in that country, but something that I recommended in my response. My other recommendation was, though, that they attach proof that they're trying to get the clearance. So that's important. That prevents any kind of rash decision by a case officer if they check up on the application in a couple of months' time, and if that state clearance is still missing, you don't want them to refuse the application, which is very unlikely, but still, to avoid that altogether, we do recommend attaching proof of application, intention to provide that clearance. There's a category there in the IMI checklist under character, I believe. So character, intention to provide clearance, provide receipt for the application, or maybe communicating with the State Department, trying to get information from them in terms of how to apply for the clearance, just something to prove that you are trying to get the clearance. You can even write a statement, so the visa applicant can write a statement saying, I confirm that I'm in the process of trying to get this clearance from this jurisdiction. I'm running into these problems. I will attach the clearance as soon as I have it available, and something along those lines. That will prevent a decision from the case officer. But what eventually might happen is they might request it again and say, you need to get this. And if you can't get this, you need to apply for a waiver of some type, and that's where things start to get a little bit more complicated, and we don't want to get to that stage. So hopefully this can be resolved before then.